everyone, this is Leo from the Monkeys Making Misplaced channel. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile on Youthberk. We're going to be trying a different little angle for this, see what people think, see if maybe you guys like this a little bit more. Definitely is a little easier on us to record, so we might do this. Youthberk, we're obviously playing the standard Youthberk ride line. Kind of need it because you need the youth name for some of the effects we'll see in the deck. But yeah, the Youthberk is definitely a deck that I feel like a lot of people want to play just because it feels cool. Maybe not a lot of people are really interested in like what he does, but it's just cool. You know, it's one of those decks that I think is just a really cool deck that, you know, the unit looks cool, that he has different forms, and that's really cool. The Youthberk, we're playing in the right deck. At the end of battle, it attacks if you choose up to one card of rebel form in its name from your hand. You write it as stand and it gets strife -2, and then you can discard a card from hand. To look at top 3, choose one card with rebel form in its name, add it to hand, or call a grade 2 or less card from among them to rear, and then you put the rest in the bottom in any order. Very good ability. There is a child deck version that has the same main ability as this. Oh, let me see if I can get rid of that weird light. There we go. So yeah, there is the one from the child deck that has the same first ability, but it doesn't have that same it has a rear guard ability instead of this ability instead. So we're definitely playing the main set one because it's just better. Then moving on to the main deck, we've got 4 persona rights, 3 being the Youthberk Skyfall arms, and then 1 being the gratis Drajeweled, just because we want a persona right in this deck. We want to have more power on top of all our power. So that's what this is for. Pretty standard, I think. Most decks are playing that. Nothing new here. Not a lot of flexibility in this deck, really, unless you want to be really risky, which I personally don't like. 4 copies of Youthberk Full Blast. This is, I would say, Youthberk's final form, right? So when he's placed unvanned by the ability of the Rebel Dress ability, which is what the Youthberk ability is called, you can counterblast 1 and perform all the following according to the number of card names in your soul. And then if you have all of them, you get plus 15, right, for a CP. Not bad. So if you have Zest, he gains a crit. If you have Gust, he gains a drive. And then if you have Tempest, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards and put it on the bottom of the deck. And then at the end of turn, this ability is shared among all the forms, or all the Rebel forms. At the end of the turn, you choose a card with Rebel Dress ability from your soul, and you write it as Rest, right? So pretty cool, right? This is essentially your boss unit. This is who you're trying to Rebel Dress every turn, because, you know, he gains a crit, he gains a drive, he can remove a unit, and he gives 15k to the front row. So definitely a very, very strong card. And we are now going to look at the other Rebel forms. I personally play 2 of each, just because I don't want to like be in the situation where one of them gets like damaged, or I can't put it into the soul as easily. So I play 2 of each. I know that there are some mad lads out there that play 1 of each, but for my own like safety, I'd rather just play 2 of it. I know maybe it's a little bit more of a safer issue, right? Because the deck doesn't have a lot of slots. Once we'll get into as how many free slots there really are in this deck, but you know, I play 2 of each. If you wanted to be risky, you could definitely play 1 of each and just, you know, pray that you'll never whiff it. But personally, I don't have that confidence. So that's why I play 2 of each. I'm not really going to go over these since they're not really, you never really use them for their abilities anymore. They're just names. They're kind of like garnets in your deck at this point. They're just like do nothings, just kind of like you need them because that's what the deck needs. But besides that, no other use for them. You can go into them if you really need to. But now moving on to the grade 2s, we play a full set of Fregosa. This is one of the cards that allows us to put the Rebel forms into Soul. And this is another reason we play the Youthberk Ride line, because she requires your Vanguard to have Youth in its card name. So you can Soul Blast 1, search your deck, or drop for up to 1 card with Rebel form in its card name, and then put it into Soul. If you search your deck, you shuffle your deck, and then if your Soul has 3 or more cards with Rebel form in their different card names, you can then Soul Blast a card without Rebel form to draw a card. So you want to get these out as quickly as you can. As soon as you get to grade 2, you want to play at least 1 of these, or 2 of these if you can. The second ability is when your Vanguard is placed by the Rebel Dress ability, against +5, so nothing crazy, but it is a 15k attacker. Add that to the 15k the Full Blast gives you, that brings it up to 30. And then if you Persona Road, that's 40, right? Big number, be good, right? Full set, because you need them for guaranteeing you get your youths and soul. And then for the newest addition to this deck, is Divine Sister Biscotti. Nothing else in this deck uses energy, so why not use the energy cyclers? They're really good as one for ones for shield, because they'll give you a new card, as well as Youth not really having a lot of good attacking units. We wanted to play another grade 2 that could help with that, right? This one can also help you stack the deck, which is really good, right? It costs energy, which we're not using for anything, so allows you to dig through your deck a little bit more effectively, or just stack the deck. It can even help you call a card if you really need to. So really good card. Definitely playing the 4 of it has been very well, because you just get to dig through your deck so quickly, or just like use it defensively to keep yourself alive, so that you can get to the turns where you just succeed, right? Because once Youth gets rolling, it can kind of just keep doing its thing forever, which is really good. Then we move on to the grade 1s with a full set of Carino. This is another grade 1 that helps you set or put the Revel Dress or Revel forms into Soul. So when it's placed on rear from deck or during your turn, or discarded from hand during your turn, if you have Vanguard with Youth in its card name, you can search your deck or drop for 1 card with Revel form in its card name. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then if you search your deck, you shuffle the deck. If you put a card into your hand, you then have to put a card from your hand into Soul. So if any of the other forms that we saw that are stuck in your hand, you can search your deck for a Youth, a Full Blast, and then just put one of the other Garnets into Soul with this ability, right? It's good discard fodder for as you're riding up. You can discard it to Youth's own ability to just, call a card or whatever. If you call this off of Youth's ability, that's pretty good, right? One other way to get those grade 3s and Souls in this deck, which is really good. Then the last, I guess, non-perfect card grade 1 is a full set of Sequana. If you have a Vanguard with Youthberk, she gains plus 2k during your turn, so she's a 10k booster. And then when your unit is placed on Van by the Revel Dress ability, you can put it into Soul, and then choose one of your Vanguards and increase or decrease its drive to 1 until a turn. You combine this with Full Blast, and he'll gain Twin Drive, because you use this ability first, suck it into Soul, Full Blast drive goes to 1, and then because of his own ability, you gain an extra drive, so he'll be Twin Drive, which is really good. So you can have 4 drives every turn, which is really cool, right? Full set. Cards shouldn't be expensive anymore because it got reprinted as a box topper, I think, so it's pretty cheap. I don't think it was very cheap before. I mean, it was a double rare, so couldn't be that expensive. Then we have the Perfect Guards. We're playing your Elementaria, and you're playing 3 copies of just your good PGs. I'm playing the new art from Divine Z just as a little bit a way to give this deck a little bit more of like a shake-up, since in reality the only thing I'm adding to this deck that wasn't in it before are the Biscottis, so that's kind of why I'm playing those PGs. But Perfect Guards are needed. That's kind of like the rule of the game at this point. Then for triggers, I'm playing Blue OT because I want to get a crit, and then being able to get your Full Blast at some point is really good, right? As well as being able to give the crit to something else. I'm not a huge fan of the Cater over trigger, so personally don't like it, so that's why I'm playing blue in this deck. Then we have 3 fronts for the added shield value. You want to be able to stay alive, and the fronts just help you. You don't want to draw cards in this deck really, because you will deck yourself out, and you don't want to do that, right? You are constantly drawing a lot of cards and digging through your deck a lot, so you can't really play draws in this deck. Then next up, we're playing a full set, or 2 sets of crits, right? Don't really need the effect crits, but I have them, so I play them. A critical, you want to be able to crit your opponent. I mean, you get 4 drive checks every turn. Why not take advantage of that with your critical triggers? Front triggers, I forgot to mention, also get the added advantage that your Vanguard is always going to swing first. So if you pull off a front, you do get to give the power to your rear guards. That's never not going to be an issue where your Vanguard's going to swing after your rear guards or anything like that. Your Vanguard pretty much always swings first in this deck. Obviously with Full Blast you might hold off, but Then lastly we got 4 heals. Again, pretty standard, nothing to really say here. It's what you need to do. 4 heals. You could switch them up for your locals. We always try to mention that, depending on what the local meta is, you want to swap them for what you think is good. So Shiranui is running around in your locals and you want to play the higher grade ones. If you get the multi-attack one, that's also really good against Shiranui. Or the crit one, you could play that against something like Ava, which is probably going to become a bit more relevant with the new promo that's now out, but play to your locals, right? Youthberk is a deck that is really, really cool feeling, but I feel like the price tag has kept a lot of the people who would play it unable to play it, right? Because it is very expensive. Like, it is an incredibly expensive deck that is probably outside of most people's price range. You know, I mean, the full blasts are expensive. The grade 2 and the grade 1 are also really expensive, I think, for like a double rare. But I think it is fun. It's definitely very streamlined. You know, you're doing the one thing, and you're trying to do that one thing as effectively as you can. So I think if you enjoy that, I think if you don't want to do too much thinking, really, Youthberk is probably your safe bet. I know maybe I'll offend some Youthberk players, but it's a fun deck. You know, it's a fun, straightforward, I'm just gonna do this, and if this will just beat your strategy, then it's what I'm gonna do. It's just gonna keep doing it, right? That's gonna keep pushing forward until it gets that win, right? So if you can't afford it, I would recommend playing Youth. It is fun, but the price tag is crazy, especially adding the biscottis. The biscottis are very expensive, so you know you're gonna have to really, you know, break the bank on this deck if you really want to play it. But with that, I'll be done. Cat will be playing Drajeweled against this deck. We might not be doing gameplays as often anymore. I did finally land my new job, so I might have a little bit less time. So I'm kind of trying to bulk record a bunch of deck profiles before I kind of work, because I'll be working like 50 to 60 hours a week, and I'm trying to get as much content done before I like work, because you know I might be incredibly tired. I won't be really able to record during the week itself. I have to record during the weekends. So you know, I either start work the day after this video is posted or the day after that. So you know, I'll probably be very busy, but I do want to keep the channel going, so I'm going to keep putting in the effort to keep the channel going, because it's been really fun. It's been really like helpful for me to like talk a bit more. You know, I don't do a lot of talking, so being able to just, I guess, talk to the camera in this sense has really helped me a lot. So I want to keep doing the channel as long as I can. I love Vanguard. It's my favorite card game, pretty much. There's no other way to go about it. So I hope everything goes well. But with that, I'll leave you guys. I'll talk to you next time.